17 apps you should download on your phone before you come to Japan. And I know that 17 sounds like such a big number, but you're already going to have some of these apps on your phone. I'm just going to tell you how to use them more efficiently here. And then I'm going to introduce a few apps to you guys that I use all the time as somebody that has lived here for 6 years that are going to help you make restaurant reservations, book beauty services like nails and hair appointments or facials. I'm also going to introduce a family-friendly app that's going to be really valuable to parents if you're coming with children. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin and I've been in Japan for almost 6 years now. We're actually leaving very, very soon, but my whole channel and page is all about helping you guys travel in Japan smarter and discovering really beautiful places that are not always in the touristy locations. And I just really love helping people come to Japan for the first time. I'm also a tour guide, so if you want to join one of my tours, I will link that into the description. Wow, I really cannot talk today, but I'm also going to timestamp this video, so if there's certain topics that you want to reference, check the description. Let's go ahead and dive into my actual list of 17, and I'm going to start with an app called PAYKE. This is an instant shopping translator app. If you want to purchase food or supplements, beauty products, anything in that wheelhouse, and you don't speak Japanese, you may want to know what the ingredients are, what the descriptions are, how to use the product. Google Translate is not always going to accurately translate all of those things, but the app like PAYKE, it's really easy. You just scan the barcode, and as long as the product is in their database, it will give you all of that information. It'll be translated in English, and you can pick other languages to choose from. It's going to work best for major popular brands because those will already be in the database. But if it's like a smaller product or you're buying from like a small family business, it's not always going to tell you that. But yeah, if you need to know what ingredients specifically are in something, I think PAYKE is going to be a really good app for you to download and have on your phone ready to use. An app like this does use data, which I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes. Number 2 is the Welcome SUICA app. This is actually new. I think it released in the last 2 months. I talked about this on one of my previous videos, but this is really amazing if it is your first time to Japan and you're kind of like overwhelmed with everything. So there is a regular SUICA app, which is all in Japanese. That is not going to be helpful to anybody who does not read or speak Japanese, and it cannot be translated. So finally, they developed one for inbound tourists, and it is called the Welcome SUICA app. It is literally an app in English designed for inbound tourists, helping you navigate the train system, explaining the Shinkansen, how to use your SUICA, and all of that stuff. And what is really cool about it is it gives you a very special Welcome SUICA card that you can upload into your Apple Wallet. It does only last 28 days, but it's just really cool. I actually downloaded it to see how the whole process would work for me so I could research for you. And it is really nice. I wish that there was something like that when I came to Japan for the first time. But the Welcome SUICA, it's a really easy way for you guys to use the trains, buses, taxis, vending machines, and purchase things at convenience stores. You don't have to figure out the ticket machines when you have something like this on your Apple phone. You can just tap it and go through and pay for everything. So yeah, if it's your first time in Japan, I highly recommend downloading the Welcome SUICA app. Number 3 is Google Maps. You probably already have this on your phone, and the reason I wanted to highlight this is for a multitude of reasons. Japanese addresses can be tricky and confusing, so it gives you the exact address and pinned locations that you need. Stations can also be confusing, so it will also tell you the exact train lines you need to be on, the color, what exit you need to go out of in order to get to your next destination from the train station. It also provides real-time transit routes, walking directions, train schedules. I hardly get lost. I don't want to say never, because even though I've been here for a long time, I just hardly get lost, but Google Maps helps. Like it literally plans everything. And also, if you want to arrive to a destination by a specific time, you can make those adjustments into the Google Maps so you know when you should be leaving. You can pin and organize everything. I mean, it's almost embarrassing how many pins I have. And then one of my tips is if you need accessible routes. So if you are using a wheelchair, If you are traveling with a stroller or you are moving around with a bunch of luggage, make sure you go into your settings and change it to wheelchair accessible. It'll give you the best routes that include elevators so that you're not tracking your luggage or getting stuck in places with staircases when you could be going to the right ones with an elevator. And then one of my other tips for using Google Maps when you're here is to search for some things in Japanese. So for example, instead of using the word ramen to search for ramen, try typing it out in Japanese using katakana or hiragana, and it'll actually populate more authentic pins or restaurant recommendations, if that makes sense, because when you search for things in Japanese, you're going to actually get locals pins, things that are not necessarily catered to foreigners. Things catered to foreigners is not a bad thing, but those are just kind of my highlighted tips to share with you guys on how to use Google Maps most efficiently. Number 4 is AIRALO, which is an eSIM company. They are today's sponsor, but you need phone data in order to use any of the apps that we are talking about today. In order to use Instagram, Google Translate, Google Maps, like literally anything you're going to use, you need phone data. So an eSIM is a digital SIM card for your phone. And what it does is it gets you phone data. So the moment you land in Japan or any other country and you turn your phone on, as long as you set everything up beforehand, you're going to get instantly connected, and it connects you to a local phone tower. So make sure you're downloading AIRALO and use my code her.atlas 3 to get a discount on your phone plan. They cover over 200 different countries and regions. They even have worldwide plans. So if you're traveling to a lot of different places in certain areas, you can just stay connected no matter where you are. I went to Korea and I used AIRALO and I had no issues staying connected. My travelers on my group trips also used AIRALO. And we did find out that as soon as your phone kind of gets buggy or feels like it's running slow, it just means that you need to top off your data plan, which they just did as soon as they got into Wi-Fi at their hotel that night or popped into a cafe. So yeah, they were able to use all of the apps that they needed. Like, you need phone data when you travel. So please use AIRALO and use my code her.atlas 3 to get a discount. You're not going to regret it. You're gonna need it. And yeah, stay connected on your travels, you guys. Number 5 is Japan Travel by Navitime, which I'm only bringing up because I don't think that you need this app. You are probably going to see a lot of people on Facebook, Reddit, other tourism pages recommending this Navitime app, but what it is it's like Google Maps, but a separate app. So I don't think you need it. Like, Navitime tells you like updated train times and schedules and all of those things, but so does Google Maps. So when you hear people saying like, oh, I also use Navitime, I just think it's another app that's kind of flooding everything, and it's not absolutely necessary. If it was necessary, I would tell you, but Google Maps does the same thing as Navitime. Google Maps also tells you the prices of the trains, which Navitime does. It's just like, I don't see the reason to have a whole separate app just for trains when Google Maps does all of that stuff for you. Now, you may be watching this video and completely disagree with me. So if that's the case, please share with us your arguments in the comments, because I would love to be convinced, and especially if you have really good, valuable information to share, tell the classroom. Number 6 is Google Translate. I find Google Translate to be the most easiest form of digital translation that you can use. You're going to need it to read menus, signs, shop labels. They might not have English translations, and they can scan Japanese text so that you can understand it mostly. So not every translation is going to be perfect, because that's just how language is, but it will give you an accurate enough description for you to figure out what it's saying. And some of the things I love about Google Translate is that you can take pictures, upload pictures, you can scan handwriting sometimes, different kanjis. You can also use voice memos to speak into it or have someone else speak into it, and it'll translate back into your native language. I love Google Translate. I cannot read all Japanese or all kanji, so I've been using it for years and it is a lifesaver. Little side tip is that you can download the Japanese language pack within the app before you come or when you're in Wi-Fi, and this allows you to translate things offline. So you're not going to be using a bunch of data trying to use that app whenever you need it. If you're coming to Japan and you want to indulge in beauty tourism, so getting your hair done, nails done, facials, massages, laser hair treatments, Botox, all of that stuff, you're going to want to download an app called Hot Pepper Beauty, but make sure the word beauty is in there. This is what locals use to book all of their beauty services. The pain points for this is that not every single salon accommodates English speaking, so you'll just have to kind of use Google Translate, maybe to have conversations with some of the salons to book your services, and just be a little patient when it comes to that. If you're not comfortable using Hot Pepper Beauty to book those appointments, you can alternatively contact salons directly on their websites. Sometimes they do have more English-friendly website designs and messaging centers, or you can ask your hotel concierge, which is what I do most of the time when I travel in other countries. When I was in South Korea, I just had my hotel concierge book all of my stuff for me, and I was like, thank you. I just felt like I had princess privileges. So yeah, Hot Pepper Beauty is what you want for all of your beauty services. If you want to make any type of restaurant reservation, you want the app OpenTable. A lot of you are probably familiar with OpenTable, but if you're not, it is literally a reservation app. I think it's really popular in the United States as well. It allows you to book a reservation, a table, a seat at restaurants of any, like whether you want a fine dining experience or something more casual. I would specifically utilize this if there's a very specific restaurant you want to get into, or if it's a special occasion or you have a large party. You'll get an instant confirmation. You can do everything through the app. You don't have to call or talk to anybody, and it will all be in English. So just keep an open mind that not all restaurants in Japan are on OpenTable, so you won't have access to like literally everything, but you can contact restaurants directly if they are not listed on OpenTable. Some traditional places are going to prefer phone reservations or require bookings via their direct website. So if you need help with a phone reservation, again, I would definitely contact your hotel concierge to have them help with that. And then sometimes you're going to be limited in like outside of larger cities. So restaurants that are in large cities are more typically listed, whereas when you go more into the countryside, they may not be on OpenTable. Number 9 is KLOOK. And if you are planning to do anything that requires a reservation or a ticket when you're in Japan, you're going to want to know what this app is and or website. If you want to go to Tokyo Disney, Disney Sea, Universal Studios, the Harry Potter world, I think Ghibli is on there, team labs, museums, day trips, bus tickets, Shinkansen reservations, all of these things you can purchase through KLOOK. So what it is, it's like the Groupon of Asia. My husband and I always use KLOOK to book all of our tickets because it's so easy. It's in English. We can pay in our native currency if we wanted to. It keeps all the QR codes in one place. And it's really important to know that when you visit Japan, a lot of things need reservations and you have to book them in advance, especially if it's like team labs. You need to do this like 2-3 months in advance, and you can do all of that through KLOOK, and it keeps everything organized in the same space. I have worked with KLOOK in the past, but I don't have an active discount code to share with you guys. So if you guys know of any codes, please leave them down below. But KLOOK is amazing. The downsides for KLOOK, it's not always the cheapest tickets you're gonna find. The cheapest tickets are typically through the actual website of the place you're going to. However, the prices really are not that much more, and I think the small fee more than enough covers like the convenience of buying a ticket through something like that, because you can read everything in your native language. The other thing is there is limited customer support regarding the specific tickets that you may be purchasing. So I wouldn't really purchase something unless you know for sure that you're going to do it. And then like refunds or rescheduling your reservation could be a little challenging. Number 10 is for hotel reservations. So if I am not using credit card points, you might be wondering what apps I use to book my hotel reservations, and that's booking.com. That is like the most, I don't know, at least in my experience, like booking.com and Rakuten are the most popular ones, but I have the booking app on my phone, and it allows me to easily find and make reservations and keep everything organized. I have an account with them, so I typically get discounts on my hotels, and it's not really leaning more into like reservations or upgrades or things like that, but I feel like it's just the easiest way to scan for hotels within my budget or certain areas that I want to stay in. And a lot of the hotels on booking.com have free cancellations, like I would say most of them, up to 24 hours before you actually check in. So sometimes if I don't know what area I want to stay in, I might make multiple different reservations ahead of time, and then I have literally up to 24 hours ahead of time to cancel. So I love booking.com. That is what I almost always use for all of my website searching and app searching for hotels. If you want to know what Japan uses for booking taxis and calling cabs, you want to download Go. You don't need a Japanese phone number to download this app. I put my American number in there and my name, and it was very easy to use. I uploaded my credit card. So I like Go because this is the more reliable and less expensive alternative to Uber. It is essentially the same thing as Uber, but the domestic version. So it's going to work a lot more efficiently, faster, the prices are cheaper. What else I like about it is that you can reserve a car. So if you know you have to go to the airport at a certain time or be somewhere at a certain time, you can reserve cars to be ready at like 7 a.m. when you need to be picked up ahead of time. You can schedule them. You can also use like car sharing services. So you can schedule like a bigger car to pick you up, and you may be sharing it with other strangers to go to similar or same destinations so that you can save money. So if you are a solo traveler or just two travelers together and that's how you want to use the app, you can make reservations like that too. You know ahead of time how much the fare is going to be, and then because you have your credit card connected, you don't have to do any form of payment once you exit the ride. It's everything in the app. Again, very similar to Uber. One of the weaknesses about Go and Uber, which we're about to talk about, is that it's very limited availability in countryside areas. So these apps are a lot more popular and common in bigger cities, metropolitan places. So if you're going to be in the countryside, don't assume you can count on having access to things like this. Number 12 is Uber and Uber Eats. You can use them just the same here in Japan. So if you don't want to download Go, the domestic Japanese Uber, then you don't need to download that app. You can just use Uber. It's not really going to be that big of a difference. I do find that with Uber, sometimes it takes cars longer to pick up or come get me. I think the prices are pretty comparable, so I don't know that it's like that big of a deal if you're going to be here a short period of time. Like, I don't think you need to download Go if you have Uber. The other thing is Uber Eats also exists in Japan. Both of these apps are going to be more popular in the bigger cities, metropolitan areas. Whenever I'm in the countryside, I do not have access to either of these apps, but they are reliable for late night food delivery. You can order from local restaurants or major food chains. As a parent, I really like knowing that I can use Uber Eats in the evenings when my son has gone to sleep and I still want a late night snack. If you don't have Uber or Uber Eats already on your phone, those would be good to have. And if you do already have them on your phone, you don't have to make any other changes except updating your location when you get here. Number 13 is Line. If you don't know what this is, it's very similar to WhatsApp. Both of these are essentially messaging communication apps. If you're going to be in Japan, I would say for a period of like 3 weeks or longer, I would download Line. This is the major way that people communicate here for texting, making restaurant reservations. It's how I contact the salon where I go get my facials. It's like literally the main form of communication. So instead of people asking you for your number, they may ask for your Line instead. So you can use your Line number or account at hotels, or if you're booking different experiences with artisans or classes, you're going to want to download Line. So if you're going to be in Japan for a shorter period of time, I wouldn't really worry about this at all. But if you're going to be in Japan for longer than 3 weeks, I would definitely make it an essential and a priority for you to get Line. Number 14 is SmartEx. This is not a high priority for you if you are using the JR Rail Pass, or you just don't want an extra app to download. But essentially SmartX is an app where you can book your Shinkansen tickets. If you don't want to deal with that, because it can make things complicated, like if you just want to keep things easy, you can just book your Shinkansen tickets at the train station. When you get there, there are kiosks and there are people who are there to help you. However, if you are someone that wants to book things ahead of time, you can use SmartX to do that. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but if you're going to be in Japan for a long time, you can also connect your SUICA card to that, but that's like another layer we're not going to dive into this video. But it lets you book Shinkansen tickets in advance. You can skip lines sometimes if there's long lines, and then you can get the e-tickets right on your phone, so you can just scan in to go to the train tracks. One of the reasons why people will download the SmartX app and then get their Shinkansens through that is because if you make reservations in advance, you typically get discounts. But you can get those same discounts by booking in advance on KLOOK and also just getting your tickets in person at the train station. So number 14 is just like, if you want it because that's the type of person you are, sure, get it, use it. If not, then like, I don't think it's like a mandatory app you can't live in Japan without. Number 15 is the MAMAPAPA map. I think this is such a cute name, but this is for parents and families. If you're visiting Japan and you have young children, it's going to be very overwhelming for you to know where to breastfeed, where the baby rooms are, trash cans, parks, all of these things. I found this map and this app to be so incredibly valuable and useful when my son was a baby and we were traveling around and I was looking for places to change him or just decompress or needed, you know, privacy for feedings or whatever. This map has all of those things on it. I think it is so smart and clever. So I never really had to stress about how far away I was from a baby room or a public space that I could go to change him or reset. And I don't think you need this app, but I do find it a really nice blanket of security when you're traveling with young children, especially if you've never been in Japan and you don't really know what areas to look for. And it's kind of funny because when I talk to new parents in Japan, even if they're Japanese, a lot of them don't even know that this app exists, and it can be a lifesaver. You can even leave little reviews as well for future parents who may be looking to go to those places. Again, this is one of those apps that's more accessible and has more resources in larger cities. When you go to the countryside, it's maybe not as popular or more difficult, but when you're in the countryside, anything goes anyway. You can feed and change your baby like pretty much wherever. Number 16 is a currency converter, currency calculator. The easiest one to use is an app you already have on your phone, and that's the calculator app. You can just, is a currency converter, currency calculator. This is really important so you don't make the mistake of not knowing how much you're paying for something. I've had people message me before like, I accidentally spent $400 on steak and I thought it was $40. And that is a tale as old as time. Hopefully those just turn into really funny travel stories for you guys. But especially if you're, you know, still kind of getting used to the yen and the exchange rate. As many of you know, Japan is susceptible to natural disasters. So earthquakes, tsunamis, fires, all of the wonderful things. And luckily I have not had to deal with anything crazy since living here, and I've been here for 6 years. But I do understand that this is a real fear and concern when you're coming to visit. So I want you guys to kind of be prepared with apps on your phone that will notify you when like an earthquake may be happening or is happening near you, and real-time weather updates. So there are 2 apps on my phone. One of them is called My Earthquake Alerts Pro, and then the other one is called the Nerve app. They are real-time seismic warnings. So I will get an alert on my phone. It's not loud, it's not like blaring or anything like that, and it will alert me of earthquakes that are happening in my area. It pops up as a notification on my phone. It will also alert me with earthquakes happening in other areas of Japan, and I just have it set to a meter that's like wide range, just because I think it's very interesting and fascinating how many earthquakes are happening here. I get alerts all day. But if you only want to get alerted for more strong earthquakes, you can do that too. So if you know that it's like in your location, it's going to be strong. It will send a warning and let you know, and then within like 15 seconds you will start feeling the earthquake before it ever actually happens. Apps are free and they give you real-time notifications and information about any natural disasters that could occur in Japan. So it includes earthquakes, typhoons, and floods. This is for the Nerve app specifically. You can also turn on a high priority alert, so if your phone is not turned off, but like your notifications are off, it will still alert you if something's like gonna happen and you need to know. That's gonna wrap up 17 apps that you should download before you come to Japan. But I did want to ask you guys, if you're watching this, if you can recommend any apps that I may have forgotten, or provide additional tips, tricks, and information about your favorite apps when you come visit. I know that a lot of you are visiting Japan for the very first time, so this is really valuable information, and I hope that you guys enjoy your trip stress-free. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if you learned some fun things, and I will see you guys in the next adventure. Bye guys!